The emotional empath. You walk into a room feeling fine. 10 minutes later, you are anxious or angry or heavy for no reason at all. Hours later, you find out what happened in that room before you got there. That is the emotional empath. It is the most common type on this list, and the one people mean when they use the word. Most people are waterproof. You are not. And this part is not a feeling. It is chemistry. When you sit near someone who is stressed, your body can copy their stress hormones. Researchers have measured it in strangers who were only watching a stressed person. Their bodies started running a stress response that was never theirs. Everyone does this a little. You do it at full volume, so you have spent years calling yourself moody. You were never moody. You were picking things up. Some of your worst days were never your days at all. The gift is that strangers tell you things they have never told anyone. The cost is that you cannot always find the line where they stop and you start. That type catches feelings. The next one catches symptoms. Real pain in your own body that belongs to the person sitting next to you. The physical empath. You are talking to a friend and a headache arrives out of nowhere. Or your stomach turns, or your lower back aches, sharp, for no reason. You slept fine. You ate fine. 20 minutes later, they mention their migraine. This is the physical empath, and your body is working like a smoke alarm for other people's pain. People with this pattern get called hypochondriacs for years. They describe pain that disappears the moment they leave a building or a person. Doctors find nothing, so they stop mentioning it. Here is what is actually happening, and it is not magic. Humans read posture, breathing, and tiny facial movements constantly, below the level of thought. Your body works out that someone is hurting before your mind gets the message. Then it copies the signal so you will pay attention. You are not imagining the pain. You are feeling it on somebody else's behalf. That type reads bodies. The next one reads what people are hiding, and it will cost you friendships you never saw coming. The intuitive empath. Someone smiles at you. They say all the right things, and you know they are lying. You cannot explain how. There is no evidence. There is a wrongness in your gut that shows up before any thought does. This is the intuitive empath, and you are a smoke alarm that goes off before anyone smells smoke. It is the loneliest common type, and here is why. You are usually right, and you are always early. You watch a friend get charmed by someone you clocked in 30 seconds. You warn them. They call you cynical. Being right early looks exactly like being negative. That is the whole problem. Nobody can tell the difference until the truth shows up months later, and by then nobody remembers you called it first. In 1996, a psychologist named Elaine Aron published research on this. She found that roughly 15 to 20% of people take in more detail from a room than everyone else in it, and that the trait is inherited and measurable. It is not a superpower. It is a setting. That type cannot stop reading people. The next one gave up on people completely. Most of them figured it out in a room full of animals. The animal empath. You knew the barking dog was frightened, not angry. You knew the horse was hurt before the vet did. You knew your cat was sick a week early and could not say how. This is the animal empath. With people, you are always translating. With animals, the translating stops. People joke that you like animals more than people. They have the reason wrong. It is not that you dislike people. It is that people perform. There is always a gap between what a person feels and what they show, and you spend all day measuring that gap without meaning to. And here's the part that is real. Animals read you too, and they read you accurately. Studies have shown that dogs and horses can tell a genuine human smile from a fake one, and that they move toward the genuine one. An animal is not deciding to trust you. It is measuring you, the same way you are measuring it. Animals have no gap. What they feel is what they show. For once, you are being read by something that is not performing either. You do not love animals more. You just finally get to stop working. That type stepped outside the human world. The next one cannot get through the front door. Some of them have moved house 3 times in 2 years. The place empath. You walk into a house and want to leave immediately. Nothing is wrong with it. Good light, clean rooms, and something in it says no. This is the place empath, and for you, rooms hold a charge like a battery. You can feel which ones are full. People call this fussy. It is not fussy, and part of it is measurable. Ceiling height changes how people think. The angle of light changes mood. The way sound bounces off a hard wall changes your heart rate. All of it works on you without ever reaching your conscious mind. Researchers who study buildings have found that certain spaces reliably raise people's stress and certain spaces lower it, and most people cannot say why. You are simply the person who feels the difference on the way in instead of on the way out. So some of what you pick up has a plain explanation, and some of it does not, which is the part nobody can help you with. That type reads rooms. The next one gets disliked on sight by strangers who have never spoken to them. The mirror empath. Someone meets you and dislikes you instantly. You have not said a word. Somebody else adores you within a minute, and you have done nothing to earn that either. This is the mirror empath. You do not soak things up. You reflect them back. You are a mirror in a room full of people who have not looked at themselves in years. When it happens, you assume you did something wrong. You replay the conversation looking for the mistake. There was no mistake. Here's the part that is real, and it runs in the other person's head, not yours. People who are anxious or insecure consistently read neutral faces as hostile ones. Studies put a blank, neutral expression in front of them and they report anger, judgment, rejection. The face never changed. They filled it in. Their reaction was never about you. You were the surface it bounced off. What they could not stand was the thing they saw in it. If you have got this far and recognized yourself more than once, subscribe now, because the next 4 are the rare ones, and the last one on this list is the type nobody sees coming. That type reflects what people carry. The next one hears it before anyone says it out loud, the telepathic empath. You answer the question before it gets asked. You finish people's sentences and it unsettles them. You know what someone has decided before they announce it, and you have learned to fake being surprised. This is the telepathic empath. Not voices, intentions. And there is a real mechanism underneath it. Your brain is a prediction machine. It runs a constant model of what the people around you are about to do, and it does this faster than conscious thought. For most people, that model runs quietly in the background. For this type, the volume is turned up, and the prediction arrives before the person has finished deciding. Everyone assumes crowds drain you because of the emotions in the room. For this type, it is not emotions, it is volume. Some minds are quiet, some are a television left on in another room all day, and there is no switch anywhere in the house. You are not bored at that party. You are trying to hear yourself think in a house with 40 televisions on. That type hears minds all day. The next one does not get the night off either. They wake up more tired than when they went to bed. The dream empath. You wake up exhausted, like you spent the night working on something. Your dreams are loud, detailed, and full of other people. You dream about someone you have not seen in 10 years and they message you the next morning. It has happened enough times that you stopped telling people because of the face they make. This is the dream empath. For most people, sleep is an off switch. For you, it is a second shift. There is a plain explanation, and it is worth being honest about it. You dream about hundreds of people. You remember the handful that get confirmed and quietly forget the thousands that do not. That is how memory works for everyone. The plain explanation has never once made it feel less strange at 7 in the morning. That type works while everyone else sleeps. The next one refuses to work at all. They would rather knock the whole table over. The Heyoka empath. You say the thing everyone is thinking and nobody will touch. You break a tense room with a joke that should not work, and somehow it does. This is the Heyoka empath, the rarest type on every version of this list. Heyoka is a Lakota word. In Lakota tradition, it means a sacred contrarian, someone who does things backwards and says what nobody else will, in a role that is genuinely sacred inside that culture. The empath community borrowed the word. The borrowed version is not the same thing, and that is worth saying plainly. In the borrowed version, this type does not comfort. It disrupts. You are the person who knocks the board game over. People think you are trying to be difficult. You are not trying to be anything at all. You simply cannot leave a false thing standing in front of you. Every type so far feels too much. The last one feels nothing, and it may belong to the most sensitive person in this entire video. The shutdown empath. The news stops landing. A friend tells you something terrible and the feeling that should arrive just does not. You used to walk into a room and read it in seconds. Now there is static where that used to be. Most people who reach this point decide the same thing. They decide they have gone cold. This is the shutdown empath. Here's what is actually happening, and it changes everything. A circuit breaker is not a broken wire. It trips because too much came through, and it trips to protect the house. The power did not leave. A switch went down. People who work with highly sensitive adults see this constantly. Long overwhelm does not delete sensitivity. It shuts a door on it. The trait is still standing on the other side, which is exactly why the numbness feels so wrong to live inside, and exactly why it lifts when the pressure does. Which leaves the strangest possibility on this list. The person who is certain they are not an empath because they cannot feel anything at all may be the one who felt the most.